probably was the other one.
My film is not about the Fidel. The title of the film is Confidel Passe Lo Que Passe. It means it's one slogan on the billboard in Sierra Maestra, which means with the Fidel whatever happens. So it's just a slogan from it's not dealing with the Fidel as a character. It's dealing about the Cuban social life. And it's without, which is good, it's almost without dialogue. It's not, it's a drama film, drama documentary, but it's without dialogues, you know, it's not, but it's not, I would say, illustrative film or impressionistic film. It's a real drama structured in 4 chapters. And one of the chapters is named it's stupid to talk about the film if people didn't see it. Vladimir Ilyich Rodriguez is one of the titles of the chapter.
With humor.
Yeah, it's a lot of humor. I'm coming from the Balkans. We are using a lot of irony and metaphors to describe the society.
I just want to mention that last month we was watching here the Rushan Magabeyev.
They call me that I'm his successor in Serbia. He's a good friend of mine. Which film you saw?
We saw 4 films.
Sweet movie,
No, not
Mystery of Organisms.
Yeah, it was the last one, and we saw the history of the 3 films.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. He's still alive.
He's, thanks God, still alive.
I am asking the back side. Խնդրում եմ, Նարեկ ջան, բոլորիդ խնդրում եմ, քանի որ ուշադրությունները իսկում, հասկանում եմ, որ չի թարգմանվում ու այդ մի քիչ լարվածություն առաջանում, բայց մյուս մասը կլինի հայերեն, մյուսը կլինի ռուսերեն։ Այսօր վերջի օրն ասում ենք, որ բոլորս շատ ուրախ տրամադրությունով վերջացնենք, հենց որ խնդրում եմ ուշադրություն։ Չէ, բայց աղմուկա դժվար է խոսել։ So I'm really curious about current condition filmmaking and because we are not getting so much Serbian films here. The new names or interesting films that you can mention that we can follow that, find and show here or see here from Serbia?
I mean,
director's names.
Oh, merci. There are a few guys now, young generation, that are trying to analyze the Serbian society through the mirror of pornography, you know. And there is one girl just won a Rotterdam title of the film. She used aesthetical mobile. It was this year, yeah. Following one young girl seeking into pornography, and this person she was trying to analyze the society. And there is a film, but they say it's interesting, it's very provocative, and another is really, I didn't see it also, but it's described as real porno film. The title of the film is made in Serbian film. Is the title of the film. It's a very provocative film, and it's really hard to follow. But they call it kind of aesthetic.
They call it art house.
They call it. So there are two, I would say, it's 2 streams in the Serbian cinema. One stream is belong the people who are more traditionally orientated to try to make social films. The second group is a young generation that is trying to make genre film imitating the Hollywood. And there are some exceptions, like these 2 films made by young generations who are making highly provocative film, whatever it means. Because I cannot judge, I didn't see the film.
What was before the rain? It was Serbia?
It's no, it was Macedonia.
Because I like that film very much. How it was accepted in Serbia?
You know, the problem
Because
is
it's all
now.
the conflict region.
No, the problem is now that we don't have any more cinema theaters. It's killed, you know. You can only have screen blockbusters, blockbusters in shopping malls, you know, multiplex. So it's the whole cinema network. Cinema theater network is ruined, is destroyed. It's so-called typical for transition countries, you know. So there are some cinema theaters like Cinematheque or, you know, Student Culture Center where you can screen for example, my latest film, I got 5,000 audience. The budget was €500,000. The film got a lot of awards and moved around the world, but you know, nobody saw it. So it's a kind of the destiny of. Also, it's in Romania. They have a great cinema, but it's very hard for the Romanian filmmakers to screen their films. Yeah.
But did your film get international distribution?
I got, but it was a very bad distribution, a Canadian one. It was fake.
Gagan, you have a question, please?
Yes, may I?
Yeah, sure.
I think there are some very interesting new people in Serbia, especially in Serbia. We had at our festival Stefan Arsenijevic and Jarišić was there with his film.
Cool. Arsenijevic, and then later I didn't finish it. Perisic, yeah?
Yes. Vladimir Željnik was the head of the jury. I think there are many interesting film directors now in Serbia. Do you think this is from the former Yugoslavian republic, it's the republic with the strongest film production now? How easy to make co-production with other republics in Macedonia, for example, or Croatia? And others?
No, it's running very well, but the problem is I don't belong to this main. For example, Arsenijevic is a big guy, you know. He's a young, but I don't agree that he's a good director. It's a very conformistic one. But such guys are doing very well, you know, because they are part of the system, and it's easy for them to get money from the state and to make a co-production in neighboring countries.
Do you know Alexander? He made the film Hamlet.
I know about a gypsy film.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a very interesting guy. One outsider, but a good guy. Yeah. For my point of view, he's a good guy. I mean, good guy, independent, and you know, Žilik is an old friend of mine, but he's very old. He's almost like Macaulay, although he looks a little bit younger. So I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not judging. I wanted to tell you briefly, not about the names, about 2-3 streams. You know, so you have people who are trying to make so-called social critical films, mainly based on traditional way of storytelling. There is a generation who is trying to imitate genre films, Hollywood films, etc. And there are some exceptions, like this girl, Maja Miloš, who made a kind of very provocative film. You know. But from my point of view, Arsenijevic is one average classical style, and which is for a young filmmaker. For me, from my point of view, it's a very conformistic position.
Yes, but maybe the people, public like this film.
I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about your and my opinion.
We're talking about distribution. It's not my interest.
But you mentioned him, you know.
I take other films.
Okay, forget him.
I would like to introduce, that was a question from Gaga, who was leading the Georgian Film Festival from the beginning. Am I correct that you started the International Film Festival in Georgia, and he is very in a film person, that they are also working in Berlin for the Berlin Film Festival. And probably Gaga also, I would like you to come here and we can talk a little bit about Georgian filmmaking. The status. Yeah, no, why not? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay with us. promise that we will see the film.
I'm giving you all I have.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And come. Okay, young generation, can you translate from Russian to English or French or Russian? No, you want to talk in English?
My English is poor, but I will try.
No, not because, I'm not saying because your English is good, but your Russian is good, that's why I'm offering you to speak Russian.
My German is very good.
Okay, no, I don't speak German, so either English or Russian, but okay, let's go in Russian. For the last few years, we are going to Russian. No, English, sorry. Because he wants to talk in English. But no, вы можете задавать вопросы на русском, да, потому что он на русском. Because of the international business, okay, rules are rules. So,
It's very amazing. Nobody in Georgia would say, let's talk Russian.
That's not problem.
Yeah, but you don't have the three, no, you already have the visa system. Yeah, no visas. That's what I'm saying. Francisco, come. So, I'm changing the topic of the discussion now, and we are moving to the neighboring country, Georgia, to talk about what's happening in Georgia in terms of the film production, because it's really painful topic in Armenia, and I know that you know very well what's happening in Georgia, and there is new changes, and I want to listen your critical opinion about if this changes really changes or it's just something that we think that there is a changes. Okay, because I met this during the festival on DAB project a round table, also representative from Georgia, and from the talk that I hear during this conversation about the co-productions, it sounds for me like in Georgia now it's a paradise for filmmaking. So there is a 2 million euro budget, which is not big, but it's bigger than in Armenia, and there is interesting activities are going around of film production. And also I'm following how they introduce or how they present the Georgia Film Festival, and by photo, only based on the photos, the presentation of Georgian Film Center and Armenian Film Center is much better in Georgia. So, is it true or not? Okay, but not like yes or not. I want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean the people who are now in the Georgia National Film Center? It's a state organization, of course, financed by the Ministry of Culture of Georgia, and their English is very good. They are better in English than me. But I used to be a director of this film institution 3 years, from 2005 to 2008. So there was a big crisis everywhere. In the 90s, we spoke of a big crisis in Georgian cinematography. Not only the financial crisis, it was a crisis in every field, I mean, and ideological and so aesthetic, every kind of, you know. And afterwards, after 2005, the state started to give more money, support the film industry, support the film center, and we worked on, I made the structure of the film center, and we worked in 4 different directions. It was film production, which 70% of our budget went to film production, and we made archive and work for heritage. We also made export of the film, of the Georgian films, like Georgian film weeks in abroad and other countries, and retrospectives and so on.
and also we made some festivals and other events, indoor trainings and so on. We started in 2005 to finance it properly, and we achieved some really, it was a change this year. I can say the crisis was over. The first film which became very popular and well known was Leva Zakhareshvili's and the Georgian cinema comes back to European festivals, not to the distribution in Europe, of course not, but the films started to appear on screens at festivals. Then was Swedish films, then was done with Verdi and and so on. So there are very interesting new film directors in Georgia. The Film Center is doing a lot. We became the member of UMASH program, and so they are doing well with trainings, with workshops, with everything. And my festival is in December every year. We are partner of Yerevan Film Festival. It's very good to support each other, and we will host this year a workshop which is a part of DAV European partnership, and we are very proud of it. And, we can continue this way, I think. But there are, of course, there are also big problems still.
And what's cinema's condition? How many cinemas you have in Georgia?
Yes, this is one of these problems. Is the network. There used to be about 200 cinemas, but now there are only, let's say, 20 cinemas which are in the whole country. So it's very few cinemas. We have no network of municipal cinemas. It was my idea to establish the first cinema, so-called Kommunales in German, municipal cinema, funded by the state. Yeah. But it is still not the case. So I mean, it's one problem. Another thing is that the society, the film society, had some properties in Tbilisi. There's a well-known old studio, so-called old studio, big studio built in 20s, which is a historical monument now, and it's very important place and then for the history of Georgian cinema. But the state wants to take it, and it belongs now to a Georgian Film Fund, but state wants to sell it, I think. Yes, there are some negotiations, but there was a process letter of the film directors, which was addressed to the Minister of Culture, Minister of Economics, the President, but I think they don't care. It will be I think if we just don't change the government in the next 2 months.
And my question also about the language that you use in cinema. What is the language in cinema?
So they made a change in the law. So all cinemas are obliged to make Georgian subtitles or translate films in other ways, so make dubbing or headphones. It's obligatory because they would pay high penalties if they don't do it.
And but the copies come from, not directly from the countries, or from through the Moscow, through the Russia? So it's a Russian copies comes with it.
Big headache, because the Russian customs is well known in the whole world. I think okay, for us, for festivals, really terrible, because they cannot go or get the sprits through the customs. They cannot do it. No, they cannot work with the customs. And you mean the distribution?
I'm meaning that the film distribution, how it comes to Georgia, is it comes through the Russian market or it comes directly? Like, let's say it's a French film and you want to show the film in Georgia, it comes from Russia with the Russian dubbing, or it comes in French and you put the English Georgian subtitles?
We show very few European productions. Mostly the films are American films. So the Russian distributors are buying the rights also for Georgia. We must buy the rights from the Russian distributors. If I want to have a French film, for example, for my festival, I have to ask Russian distributors. I buy the rights as Russian distributors, but they have no prints, they are not interested in our festival. They cannot provide us with good copies, and we have to look for prints in other countries, and it's a big problem.
Yeah. Why you don't deal directly with France or with
because they say we sold the rights to Russian company Central Partnership.
That's local.
The Russians can buy rights for the whole world if they want. If they pay, we are not rich to pay this distributors to be faster.
Mostly they buy for the whole region.
Even we are not more in the CIS, but we have to buy the rights.
Particularly for Armenia, because it's CIS. They buy for CIS countries. And then we are getting the distribution through the Russia. So films come in Russian. Okay. Do you have any questions to our Georgian?
So, from 2005 you mentioned, average, how many films produced by Georgian directors, in average?
In average, we say, of course, there are two different directions. There are commercial movies, which are going straight to the cinemas. So the directors, I don't know how they find the money, because these are not the projects which are financed by the film center, which has a commission, and you have to have a very good project. But you can finance your own film, and in Georgia everybody has friends in the cinema, so they will show your film, and you can get your money back, or even become bankrupt or not. This is a commercial way. And another way is this so-called state-financed movies and co-productions, and all these new Georgian films are screened at cinemas. But there are maybe five, 6 films. I mean, long films.
Yeah.
Feature films. There are documentaries, there are shorts.
Did you have a success story, like one film that was really very successful and even covered the expenses for the film in a local market?
I think the most successful was The Other Bank by Giorgio Vasili, and also this Karabakh. Because at the beginning it was quite successful. I don't think they could cover all these expenses, no, but 50% maybe.
But these films are short with celluloid, with film or digital?
Some of them, yes, were shot, digital, maybe. But now they are shooting red.
So numbers are higher.
Video.
Then you have more productions.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot.
There is a lot, but they bought some techniques which are already old.
No one.
Also, there is no development in the big studio. Former Gruzia film, which was famous during the 60s, 70s. Now, nothing happens there. So they have difficulties. This is a joint stock company, and it is nothing.
So is the new film, Georgian film that we find at sea for this year, something that we can recommend?
This very interesting new Georgian movie by a beginner, Rusudan Choni is her name. Again, keep smiling. Again, director. I think it will be good. It will be premiered in Venice Film Festival this year. I don't know which section, but it will be in Venice. It goes to Venice first, and then we will show it in our competition.
Do you think that this film can be also interesting to show in for Armenia?
Why not?
I'm asking just, not but in terms of commercial screening. In the movie theater. No, but how you feel?
What is the taste of the management of it.
Armenia is not, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking, it's interesting too. Because, you know, it's, since Soviet collapsed, we don't have so many Russian films also in our screen. So it's really hard to understand what should be the film from the neighboring countries to attract your films. But keep smiling, this is a project that was developed in 2004 in Avanti projects, which was like Chinchik and Bonded Palace in Armenia. And was there any other film, Georgian, that they already finished from that project? Do you remember? Because I didn't see any feature film. I saw the short film, but
she was very unlucky because this project failed 2 times. When I was director, the film center to get the state support, but later she could manage it.
But did the project get the Avanti? Pretty short said come. Any other questions to Gaga? No? Okay. Thank you, Gaga.
Потому что я уже изучил.
Принципиально нет?
Я не принципиально.
День большого понимает лучше, чем на...
Inga,
Что
Kaçırmam hangisi da? Biz
Ekbu hoki անգլերենա, 60 հոգի ռուսերենա։
հետաքրքիրչի Kaçırmam hangisi?
Я бы с удовольствием говорил на армянском, но, к сожалению...
Не, на русском можно, с удовольствием.
Я давно не говорю по-русски, кстати.
Ладно,
не важно. Да, спасибо большое, Гага.
Спасибо вам.